Alright guys, welcome back. Today we are doing some Ridetech subframe bushings as well as subframe connectors. So I'm going to show you the parts we got going here. So we are doing the 8100, 1000 Ridetech bushing kit there. I don't have the number on these others because I've already thrown that box. Let's see if I can get a good view of this one over here. They make a pretty nice part from what the initial quality looks like. So again, these are pretty beefy. It's your logo, of course. Got their little logo stamped in here. Pretty simple install overall, looks like. Actually, I do have the part number on these instructions here. So that's the kit we're going with. Little difference in height on these bushings as far as how they do. They're lower and upper compared to what was in it. Overall, it's the same. They just changed that, so I don't know what that's going to affect, if anything. These are a Delrin aluminum. If memory serves me right, I'll have to double check that. Where these were a polyurethane. So just hoping to get a little more stiffness out of it and make it a little more solid underneath here. So with that said, let's get going. Alright, so I've already got this side out. These are a pretty simple install. The bigger male portion here is on top of the subframe, and then your smaller section, once it goes through cups back around the bottom to sandwich it like this. I've actually put these in backwards before, so you want to make sure you do have the orientation right, otherwise all your front body panels will be off alignment. You can do this with a jack, obviously. This lift definitely helps things. So you've got it raised up on jack stands. The tires are just clearing actually. This side I've got down because the frame's dropped, but we're clearing over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and slip a bushing back in this side, knock this other front out, and then the back ones I'm gonna switch, but I'm gonna leave those a little looser until I'm able to get the actual subframe connectors all the way in as well. Alright, so we got both these front ones in. That one there, that one there. I left these loose. They got a torque spec on them of 90 foot-pounds. But for now I'm gonna leave them loose till I do the backs. And then they've actually got an alignment pin here to kind of help make sure everything's squared away. You can measure off the wheelbase. May double check that, but I think we're gonna be pretty close, no more than what anything has moved with doing it this way. So on to the back. Quick note, I had to change up. I had the jack stands under it for the front ones. That worked. To do the back ones and get them low enough, I had to pull the jack stands out, set it back down on the front wheels. And as you can see now, plenty of room to switch these out. And these aren't really, deteriorated or anything like a stock one would be. It's just I wanted to make sure everything matched up. And these should have a little less give. And they're supposed to be better than the solid aluminum as far as noise and vibrations. But that's not as big a deal to me. Here is what I'm going for. So again, simple enough. 1, 2, we'll throw the bolt in and move on to the subframe connectors. And just for rough purposes here, so I just screwdriver up in here, make sure we are pretty much straight up and down with that line in the upper hole. Pretty close there. We're good there. So that's that. This literally took about 5 to 10 minutes. Obviously, I know that's not the case for everybody if you don't have the lift, or if you have the old rusted one still in it. But this is a pretty easy swap. And now I'm gonna relocate the air jack. Got some jack stands under the rear end part with the jack tray. And we'll move on to dropping the back part and getting these subframe connectors in. Alright, so there's not really a great way to get a shot of what I'm going to do with these two jacks in the way, or the jack tray in this, but let me show you and then we'll go back around to the mount. So I've got the rear end supported just enough to get the tires off here on the jack stands, and then I'm going to use the actual air jack to lower and raise the front of the leaf springs. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect, lower shock mount, U-bolts, and then I'll come back and hit the front leaf spring pockets, and I believe that'll get me where I want to be to drop that down, put the subframe connector on, and then go back up with it. But we'll see. Alright, so got everything disconnected here. Went ahead and knocked this side out. So now we're gonna move over to the front side. Excuse me, trying to fight losing my voice again already. And then we'll drop those leaf springs and should start being able to go back in. Side note, did upgrade toolboxes. Anybody that watched the previous ones might have seen the big green one I had. It was stuck over in this corner. Just couldn't fit under the lift. I got tired of walking, 7 to 8 feet every time, if not further, to get one little piece. So bought this on Black Friday, and so far it's working out great. Alright, here's the hoping I can get these out without one of these nuts on the top side breaking loose. There's one hidden way up here. Corner. We got one here, one here. Hand wrench on, just because where it's at in correlation, this side of the air jack kicks this way, it's kind of blocking it. Alright, so I had to change up the way I was doing this, because the way I was doing it, I did not want to drop them out. But they're finally lowered down here. End up moving the back jack stands, getting the body on the outer edge under the rockers, and then with that I was able to use the center to raise the body up off of it and get them pop free enough where I can disconnect this here now and should be able to put the new in. Minor mishap. Well, see if I can get this one on here. 3/4 on each side. Save these, not that I really think I'll ever have a need for them, but I like to keep anything that comes off. Alright, so this is what they give you hardware wise. Ignore this part, this is core support bushings I've still got to put in up on the front side. But you get one longer bolt that's going to be used with this shim. It's going to go on top like that, and that'll be the longer one. And then two original, essentially like factory, they give you all new clips. And then you get these T bushings, depending which hardware size you have, using their 1/2 inch or 5/8. This is set up for 1/2 inch. And then you've got an assortment here that's going to go towards the front for the drilled spots. Alright, so we just got to get these clips out. Alright, so we are going to have to use these T bushings inside here. If I can get one of these on each side. Once this is up in here, it should be pretty good. You can kind of see how this is going to go. So once I get this back raised back up, we'll come back in. Got 2 holes to drill here. I don't think they drill any through the center or anything. Back here it may have one that goes. It does not. I've got to get that shim. So one of these is just going to sit this way on this side. There's a, kind of see here, this raised portion, so that just slides over like that. This side's ready to raise up. I'll go ahead and switch this other side, get it off, get the subframe connector the same position as this one, and then I'll be able to raise those back pockets back up into, start final sorting everything out. Alright, so I went ahead and got everything switched out here as far as the clips. bracket off. Just gonna try to sneak this in here. It's far enough back. Just have the little part over on the lift. Far enough back clear. Yes. Alright, got everything mocked up here. Shims are in place on both. So I think we're ready to lower this part down, get back under the springs, and start trying to get them back in position. Slide this out. Tighten these up. Find the wrench. They're not bolted in yet, but I moved the air jack back under the leaf spring pads, raised this up, and I had to get it up pretty high to get this to flex out far enough, but we are lined up. Should be pretty much everywhere through there. You can see why it requires that shim there. And then the front up here is going to be loose until I get those tightened, and then we'll come back and drill everything last. But these look like they're going to fit pretty snug across the fuller once everything is buttoned up. So I'll get some bolts going in this and we'll be on to the front. All right, so this should be two of the shorter ones that are just like factory. Tighten this side up, hit this side, and then we'll move on to the front and drill in the brackets. Alright, so kind of a pain on the angle with these once you get them up there to get those drilled. Get these bolts out. But what it should be is washer bolt, washer, lock down on the back side, and you do this 2 times on each side of the actual connector. So I've still got 6 more of these to drill. So with that said, I'm going to get these knocked out, then I'll come back and show you the finished end result product once everything's 100% complete. Alright guys, here's the finished product. I'll show you the other side of this as well, but everything is in, bolted, finalized. So we get the new bushings there. And then these go all the way back, and it just creates a whole new pocket. So overall, I definitely think this is gonna stiffen things up. I mean, these are solid built. I've got to finish running this fuel line. I'm gonna update some things there going up to the front, and then we'll get a test drive to see how they do. All right guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. We'll try to get something out again soon with something different. I don't know what's gonna be next right off. But as always, if you enjoy, please like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.